Hello again, welcome back to another episode. Today I've got something that's quite a bit different to the normal cameras that I cover. This is a 35mm SLR from Olympus, introduced in 1988, and this is the OM101 power focus, so it's a part of the OM system. It's a little bit of an odd camera, this one. I'm not really quite sure what to make of it. I picked it up very cheap in a charity shop, which I guess the Americans would call a thrift store, and I didn't pay a lot of money for it, and I'm quite grateful that I didn't, to be fair. Olympus went a little bit nutty, and they've always been a bit weird. I'm a big fan of the OM series, don't get me wrong. I've used a lot of OM 1s, 2s and 4s. I've never really dabbled with the double-digit OMs, but this one I bought as a novelty, and it certainly is novel. As you can see, it's a rather sleek design. I think it's got metal interior because it is quite heavy, but it's very, very dark. It's black all over. This one is fitted with the optional manual adapter too, although all of the information is missing off of these wheels. There should be a range of shutter speeds on this one and a range of apertures on this one, and a bit like the OM1, but this camera is a program only camera. In its default, this part you can remove. There's a coin slot there, and you can take this adapter off, and it's purely a program camera. I've never shot film through this. To be fair, I don't want to appear as a camera snob, but this doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. It's totally devoid of functions. The lens is devoid of any controls. There's no aperture ring, there's no focus ring. This is a 50mm. This is actually an autofocus lens, AF 50mm 1.8, and it's an AF lens. There was a series of 3 PF lenses for this camera, but it will take the standard manual focus OM lenses, the OM mount lenses. I'll show you the mount on this. It's a standard Olympus OM mount, but it is motorized for focus. It has a focusing motor built into the camera body, but other than that, it's just a standard OM mount. If you put a manual focus OM series lens on there, it works in aperture priority, which is a bit more useful. At least it does give you some sort of control. That's without this part fitted. So lens release, there is a backlight button which probably gives you 1.5 or 2 stops extra exposure for backlit subjects. Battery powered, it runs on 4 AAAs that sit in the grip. So I suspect most of these have got some sort of issue with the battery door. It doesn't seem to be the most robust part of the camera. And that's about it on the front. On the top, very little. Self-timer. Presuming there's an LED for that. Yep, there's an LED up there for it. A frame counter, a shutter release button, and this big dial up here has got batteries in it, so yeah, it makes a noise and the LED comes on, so the batteries are good. Switch it to that mode for program. The back door must have been opened at some point because it's trying to load the film, so it's going to be an easy camera to load. And if you've got the adapter, you can use it in manual mode or aperture priority by using this adapter here, which I can't because there's no printing left on these dials on the side. You can actually see if there's a film in there, which there isn't. That's about it. There's no exposure compensation. There's very little to talk about with it, really. It's got a power sticker on it, so now it's got this wheel over here, power focus. You can see as I turn it, that little cog very similar to other camera manufacturers, uses AF motor in the, well, this isn't an AF camera, but it's half of one. It's got the drive mechanism in there that couples with the corresponding lens down the bottom there. Stick the lens back on. Red dot to red dot. Just so you can see what he's doing. Twist it. So to focus the camera, you use this switch here. As you can see, it moves the focus on the lens. It's fairly easy to control, actually. It is quite precise, but it's just a very weird way of, to me, of focusing what's essentially a manual focus camera, but with a power focus. It does have a split image rangefinder in the viewfinder, unlike its the camera that came before, the OM101, which was an autofocus camera. This one is a power focus camera. I don't know of any other manufacturer that I can think of that went down this sort of route. My other issue with it is within the viewfinder there's absolutely no information apart from this P showing it's in program mode. I think the flashing probably warns you about something. I don't know, I haven't read the manual on it. But yeah, it's a very, very strange idea. Didn't really catch on. And the only OM accessories, system accessories that work with it are some of the flash guns. I think the T-series flash guns will couple. There's extra connections on the top there. DX coding only, so you can't even play around for exposure compensation by adjusting the ISO or anything. It only reads the DX coding, so you can't use non-DX coded cassettes, although you can get printed labels to put on ones that are missing them. Yeah, your film goes in there. It's a power rewind as well, so you don't have to rewind the film, hence there's no crank on the top. Vertical metal shutter, which is quite nice. Pull the film across to the orange space and then close the back, and it will auto wind to load the film for you. So very easy camera to load, very easy camera to use really. But you are stuck with program mode and you don't know what aperture and what shutter speed it's selected. And there you go, it's trying to load. There you go, it's self-loading. So yeah, very easy camera to use. A bit like a point and shoot with interchangeable lenses. Comparable sort of camera would be something like the Canon T50. But I think the T50 gives you more control and probably is a better all-round camera, but this is just an interesting one. Power advance, power rewind, power focus. No idea what the exposure is going to be. You can see the split image in the middle of the viewfinder. So you really are in the dark when it comes to using this. I think you're going to press that and that at the same time, have you? Or not, you just press that and then press that. Interesting. Self-tie that and that. Oh, there we go. Beep isn't particularly loud. I doubt you'd hear that from far away. Oh. There you go. Got the full range of shutter speeds, but it's just that lack of information and lack of control that would annoy me with it, that's for sure. But yeah, included out of interest. It's part of the OM system. To rewind, you can rewind mid-roll by pushing up on this lever here, and it will rewind the film for you. But there's no film in it, and I'm not going to put any film in it. Made in Japan. Yeah. So there you go, folks. That's the. Oh, there it is. It is rewinding. So yeah, it's working. So it's reliable. It's probably just as good as any other Olympus camera when it comes to terms of quality. I don't like the finish on it. I don't like the look of it. being a bit harsh on it, I know, but you're not going to grow your photography with this. It really is just a simple camera. Probably takes very good quality pictures, but this power focus, I just don't really see the point of it. Anyway, that's the camera for today, folks, the OM101. Sorry to be so hard on it, but for me, it's one that's going to be in the collection purely for display and point of interest. Don't pay too much money for these. I was looking at some of them on eBay earlier, and they're like £100 upwards. No, you can get a far better camera, particularly if you're starting. You know, I don't think an advanced amateur or even a photography student would be looking at this sort of camera. For that sort of money, you can get a far better camera, far more suitable for progressing in the world of photography than one of these. They're an obsolete dead end, but yeah, just included out of interest. Comments, questions, queries down below. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.